Hey guys, Desolate Magic here, and as promised, and as everybody was angry about, Wizards is officially putting the spotlight on Brawl, Legacy, and Vintage, apparently the three formats that they care the most about, despite what the community cares about, and they officially released a banned and restricted announcement. Not a lot of surprises here, but there's a couple. So let's start with Brawl. Dranith Magistrate is banned. I'm kind of surprised that it took them this long to figure out that that's literally just Sorcerer's Spyglass on steroids. Here, let me read the card for you. Your opponent can't play their commander. So Spyglass was one of the first cards to be banned in Brawl. I think it was the second, because I think the first one was that blue guy, that control guy. But basically, abilities of the chosen card name can't be activated. So if you had a Planeswalker, or really any activated ability on your commander, they would just name it. So it made it mostly decoration. I mean, triggered abilities and like if it was a creature, literally just being a creature was just fine. It would still have like Death Touch, First Strike, Lifelink, Flying. And then we've got Dranith Magistrate, which is even further. So your opponents can't cast spells from anywhere other than their hand. So that includes the command zone, the graveyard, the library, anywhere. I think with Eldraine, you're technically casting a spell from the exile zone, so it shuts that down too. I'm actually surprised more people don't play this card. So the second card that they banned was, of course, Lurrus. Just kidding, they did not ban Lurrus from Brawl. He is still in Brawl. But they did ban Winota, Joiner of Forces, which if you just look at the card, know what it does, you're like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. But then you think, 1 out of 60? Is that really a problem? But then the real problem is making it your commander, obviously. Because then obviously it's just an automatic card. I mean, that's actually worse than it is in Standard, because in Standard you might not draw a Winota or start the game with it. So yeah, functionally, I'm not surprised at all. I think that you can get enough humans and non-humans in your deck shared to fill up, 40 plus 20 lands or whatever. So good riddance, sister, but if they're willing to get rid of you in Brawl, I have a sneaking suspicion that you're too bad for Standard as well. But as everybody suspects, they're focusing on these formats first because they want to sell Ikoria. It just went on sale, this weekend or whatever? So they want people to build the wrong deck and then ban it like a week later. So that's nice. Thanks for that, guys, you greedy assholes. So let's move on to Legacy, where they actually did ban Lurrus. He's just too damn good. And I say that because he's in, I think, 6 or 7 different, and I mean actually different decks. I mean, in Vintage and Legacy, there's a ton of 0 drops, and there's, self-mill, and just, it is such a degenerate format that doesn't work anything like Magic was intended. I don't even consider Legacy and Vintage to be Magic the Gathering. It's a bunch of crap that was never supposed to be in a deck together, and it's just like a bunch of turn 2 combo crap, and then some of the decks go past turn 2. I know Legacy players get really touchy about people saying, it's just a turn 2 glass cannon combo format. Yes, some people don't play turn 2 decks, but some do. In fact, a lot of them do. So he just took a couple decks that already existed and made them a little bit too powerful, and then they all took over. So he's clearly the problem. It's not him and one other card that are like some big new thing. It's not like the Eldrazi where it's a whole new concept out of nowhere and the whole thing has to go. He just is too good. He's an automatic card. He's a free 8th card. Why wouldn't somebody throw him in if their deck's already close enough to go 2 or under? And then the second card that was banned in Legacy, this is a little bit of a surprise. It's Zerda, the companion that nobody plays. So this one, it is hybrid, so you got some options. It's a 3/3 for 3, so it's already pretty good. It's an elemental. Okay, you can get something going there. And abilities you activate that aren't mana abilities cost 2 less to activate. That's the key right there. I wasn't aware that anybody did anything with this yet, but I'm not surprised that enough people did that they're banning it. So this effect can't reduce the mana in the cost to less than 1. So you're still going to have to pay 1 for something, but if there's like a recurring loop that you want to do or an infinite combo or something, it just got way more doable by dropping this dude in. And I'm not sure if you could combine this with like another reduction effect to make it cost 1, because you could choose the order that they're reduced in. And then the other thing is you pay 1, tap it, and target creature can't block this turn. That's pretty damn good. I doubt a lot of decks win that way, but it's nice to have. The big thing with Zerda is that each permanent in your starting deck has to have an activated ability. Every single permanent. That includes the lands. I honestly didn't think that people could play around that restriction, but it would seem that some people have. And moving on to Vintage, where the unwritten rule is we don't ban cards, we restrict them. Anything goes unless it has a rules or functional problem. So considering that definition, this is the first card to be banned from Vintage, Lurrus of the Dream Den. Vintage is like Legacy, but even more degenerate. So I'm not surprised that people did something with Lurrus that they shouldn't do. I guarantee they're getting them out without paying for them. I guarantee they're resurrecting something that costs like 0 or something. I don't know. Who knows? I didn't look at the decks. I don't care. I hate Vintage. If you don't like people crapping on Vintage, welcome to the Magic community. That ain't news. And second, just go put on your monocle and your top hat, get on your horse, and trot away. So other actually banned instead of restricted cards in Vintage were anything involving ante, because they found out it has legal problems in multiple countries, and things that involve throwing or dropping cards, because that's just stupid. And Shahrazad, because starting a sub game is not great. And then, obviously, all silver and gold bordered cards, because they were never intended to be real cards for real formats. As if anybody considers Vintage a real format. So Lurrus is the first card in the history of Magic, out of about 27 or 28,000 unique cards that have been printed, to be banned in Vintage for being too good. Black Lotus and the rest of the Power 9 are still legal, well, restricted, but still you can play one of them in Vintage. Now, would they have restricted Lurrus? Probably, except that you only need one because of the dumb way that Mark Rosewater designed it. And he absolutely should be fired for it. And you might say, oh, but it was banned because of how it plays. It's the same as the other bannings. They just didn't like how it plays. Well, they left the other 9 companions legal, so they didn't ban companion like they banned ante. Oh, and I forgot, conspiracy cards that use like the conspiracy mechanic or whatever from Conspiracy 2. Those are gone too. Those are banned just simply because of the mechanic. But yeah, this one, no, it is banned because it's a companion, but companion as a whole wasn't banned. So I'm going to call this just the card was too good. So they have an explanation themselves. I'm going to read it real quick to get their side of the story, even though this is pretty transparent. We got Vintage, Legacy, Brawl. Oh, and then they have a heading called Other Formats. Well, they do know they exist. It's a miracle. So they say, Vintage, in the weeks following the release of Ikoria Lair of Behemoths on Magic Online, we've observed the rise in popularity and win rate of Vintage decks using Lurrus of the Dream Den. As a companion, because of the nature of Vintage's wide card pool and powerful restricted cards, the deck building cost imposed by Lurrus is less restrictive relative to the payoff of having Lurrus as a companion. That's the thing. I never thought his ability was that good, but I guess in the right deck, it's like, whoa, I can cast that straight from the graveyard? Holy crap. He's like a big old Control-Z undo button. As a result, the win rates of several archetypes using Lurrus have surpassed 55%. That is their limit, by the way, which is funny because there was one tournament where Fires of Invention hit 71%. Lurrus and Fires are going to be banned, bare minimum, in the next ban announcement. So that 55% was in Magic Online League play, and collectively, decks using Lurrus are representing too large of a portion of the metagame with no indication of a shift away from this trend. Yeah, there is literally no way to stop him. You can't remove him from hand, you can't really do anything. Meddling Mage, though. But therefore, Lurrus of the Dream Den is banned in Vintage. We recognize that it's a rare occurrence to ban a card for balance reasons in Vintage. Yes, you've literally never done it. So it's not a rare occurrence, it's actually you've never done it. There's a difference there. So rather than restricting it, but this is a unique case of restricting Lurrus wouldn't affect its usage as a companion, blah, 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 duh, we know how math works. We can count to 1. So that's the primary motivation for making this change. Let's move on to Legacy. As in Vintage, the wide card pool of powerful low mana cost permanents in Legacy makes the power level of using Lurrus the Dream Den as a companion not commensurate to the deck building cost. Well, let me put on my second monocle. Several archetypes that were already strong, including Delver variants. God, they need to ban Delver! People have been saying this for like 7 years. I hate Delver, you hate Delver, we all hate Delver. Can we just ban Delver already? Oh my god. And Lurrus. I'm not saying Delver was the problem in this case, I'm just saying it's been a problem separately. But yeah, get rid of Lurrus. So they've incorporated the use of Lurrus as a companion when necessitating relatively few deck building changes. Collectively, Lurrus decks represent an increasingly large portion of the metagame, with several variants maintaining win rates above 55%. Once again, that is their limit. That is the benchmark they use unless they want to mislead you. We've had them basically openly say this hit a win rate of about 60%, and then try and make some BS excuse. No, this is one of the primary benchmarks, so be consistent, Wizards. Anytime they violate this policy, it's because they're trying to lie to or manipulate you. Like with Fires of Invention. Anyway, matchup data indicates that metagame forces alone aren't sufficient to keep this deck in check. So we are also choosing to ban Lurrus the Dream Den, or of the Dream Den, whatever, who cares where he's from. In Legacy, well, I guess Ikoria Lair of the Small Boys was just too much for Legacy and Vintage. In addition, we're seeing very high win rates among decks using Zerda the Dawnbreaker as a, or Dawnwaker, whatever, Zelda the Windwaker as a companion in combination with Grim Monolith. Oh, that's what the problem was. Okay, let's throw this one up on the screen. Grim Monolith doesn't untap during your untap step. You can tap it to generate 3, but then it takes 4 mana to untap it. So what would happen? So now it costs 2 mana to untap Grim Monolith, and then you can immediately tap it for 3. Now, why would that be a problem, you guys? I don't see the problem there. Let's see if I can get Dora the Explorer to do some quick maths and tell me why this is a problem. Oh, she said it's because that's a net 1 in an infinite loop. I guess Mark and Aaron didn't catch that one. Whoopsies. No, this is shocking to me. I mean, they saw the combo, they're like, well, that's some toxic ass cancer. And then they're like, oh, wait a minute. While not widely played, Magic Online metagame data indicates that this deck would become problematic in both win rate and metagame share. Therefore, we're taking the additional step of banning Zirda in Legacy. Holy crap. So they didn't do it with Aetherworks Marvel. They did kind of do it with Hostage Taker, but in a cheaty boy way. They didn't do it with the Saheeli Cat combo. And I feel like there was 1 or 2 others that people pointed out that they didn't take action against right away in Standard. So their typical thing is, yes, clearly, clear as day, any idiot, even somebody who's been playing the game for a month could tell us that this combo is going to be a problem. But let's wait and see. Wizards, you can wait and see these nuts, okay? When the whole community is telling you that this is going to be broken, degenerate shit, it's time to get rid of it. And the time to get rid of something is before people buy it and play it and waste their money. So holy crap, they saw the writing on the wall and saw some early stats and were like, we're getting rid of it. I cannot believe this. It's an actual miracle. I mean, if you think about it, turn 2 Grim and it can be in any deck at all. Turn 3 Zirda and it's automatically in your hand basically because of Companion. So all you have to do is start the game with Grim Monolith, and then from turn 3 onward, you have unlimited colorless mana. The only catch is you gotta have the white or red to pay for Zirda. Beyond that, your deck could be absolutely anything. I can see why that would be a problem. Then again, this is Legacy. Unlimited mana on turn 3 ain't shit. So I don't know why they got their undies in a bundle over it. I guess they're mad about the win rate. So let's move on to the most transparent, obvious one, Brawl. Part of our philosophy for Brawl is that it shouldn't be easy for a single card to completely shut down a wide class of commanders. Maybe people just shouldn't play those commanders. An example of us acting on this philosophy in the past was banning Sorcerer's Spyglass. And I thought Meddling Mage was banned in Brawl, but I don't remember if it was legal in Brawl. I don't think it is. It's in Historic Brawl, so maybe they banned it from Historic Brawl. Because I'm looking at Scryfall and it says Brawl not legal, but it was part of Historic Anthology, so it might not be legal in the first place. I'm pretty sure Meddling Mage was banned in just Historic Brawl in just Arena. Anyway, same thing basically. When it comes into play, you name a non-land card, the card can't be played. Meddling Mage has been banned in several side events, by the way. So they say that we feel Drannith Magistrate falls into this category. Yeah, clearly it's a better card than Spyglass, and generally takes away from the fun and self-expression that come from building, not comes from building. No, don't proofread it or anything. Around a commander in Brawl, so we are banning it. No, that's how you build around a commander. That's actually the problem. Actually, it's a big brain move. You're building around all of the commanders. On the balance side of things, we're seeing that high win rates using Winota Joiner Forces as a commander are leading to increased play rates and reduced diversity of play experiences in Brawl players. While we're generally more tolerant of win rate outliers in Brawl than other formats, with a more competitive spirit behind them, I really don't know where they're going with that. No, if a deck's taken over, get rid of it. Like, what? So we're choosing to make a change here in order to open up more viable choices for self-expression in the Brawl metagame. Once again, you can self-express these nuts, Wizards. I just don't want assholes winning on turn 4 with their broken shit. If I want to build a deck that's pure self-expression and I don't care about its competitive nature or power level relative to what's popular, I'll just play with people who aren't assholes. You know, kind of like Commander already is. Of course, that strategy falls flat on its face because Brawl is almost entirely played on Arena, and everyone on Arena is an asshole. I don't know this person. I don't care about this person. I'm here for wins. I don't care if I stomp on them turn 3, technically. I don't care if I run a prison deck. Screw this person. That is the motto of every last person on Arena. So now the section titled Other Formats. This gonna be good. Get some popcorn. I have not read this yet. We're gonna get a real-time reaction. Here we go. I guarantee you might want to turn your headphones down. While this set of changes has focused on Legacy, Vintage, and Brawl, for some frickin' reason, we're continuing to watch the evolution of the metagame in each other format. Really? You're watching that train crash? You want to do something about it? You want to step in? Train's on fire. Might want to get a fire extinguisher anyway, including Standard, Pioneer, and Modern. Oh, just in case you didn't know the formats that they're talking about, guys. You know, those 3 train wrecks. If changes become necessary in other formats, we're already there, princess. We'll provide those separately in a future announcement. Okay. You wanted to wait until a week or 2 after the cards came out so that you don't devalue the boxes slightly and cost yourself several $1 million in sales. We can see through your bullshit pretending that those formats aren't in worse places right now than Legacy and Vintage. You are lying. You are absolutely misrepresenting it. And the statement that you're going to see if anything becomes a problem is such a crock of shit. We all see right through your crap, and everybody's boycotting this. I would recommend everybody jump on the boycott wagon. It's blown up on Twitter. It's blown up in my comment section. Everybody's saying it. They are not touching Ikoria. Not $1 spent on 1 pack of this bullshit until they bare minimum fix Standard. Which might be hard to do because there's about 5 true problem cards and about 30 overpowered cards that need to go. So good luck with that, Wizards. But the bullshit train ain't pulled into the station yet. Let's keep reading. As of now, we're seeing a diverse and dynamic metagame. Bullshit! It's Winota and Fires and like 1 other deck. So that changes from week to week in each Standard, Pioneer, and Modern. Yeah, if you look at them all and say, oh, look, something changed in Modern, while literally nothing changed in Standard. Before determining whether any changes are necessary, Gyruda and Winota, changes are necessary. And you know what? Teferi and Steely Boy, why not? Oh, and Fires. And did I say Teferi? I think I did. And you know what? People like to whine a lot about cards that they want out of Standard because, oh, boo-hoo, I lost to it once. Here's my list of cards that should not be banned in Standard. Drakuseth, Ashiok, Rhythm, Bolas' Citadel, Nyx Bloom Ancient, Niv Mizzet, Iron Scale Hydra, arguably, Ilharg, Gilded Goose, Questing Beast, Divine Visitation, Thief of Sanity, Doom Whisperer, Garuk, Light Up the Stage, Casualties of War, Nightmare Shepherd, Rotting Regisaur, Rankle, All That Glitters, Runaway Steamkin, Captive Audience, Nadir Kraken, Hushbringer, Spectral Sailor, Arclight Phoenix, Ral, any of them, Feather, Safara, Uro, Heliod, Great Henge, Croxa, Liliana, any of them, Brazen Borrower, Nicol Bolas, any of them, Voracious Hydra, Thousand Year Storm, Yarok, and Icon of Ancestry. They're all powerful and annoying, but there's always powerful and annoying cards. None of those in any way go too far. They're slow, they're stoppable, or they're narrow, or they give you at least 1 turn to respond, unlike Embercleave and Torbran. So those cards are the limit. Every one of those is the highest power level that I think Standard should ever get to. So what clear as day went too far? Or Witch's Oven should be banned because I'm sick of waiting for my opponent to hit enter. Knight of the Ebon Legion, Teferi, the Time Raveler, whatever the hell, Golos, Steel Overseer, Edgewall Innkeeper, Trawler, obviously, Risen Reef, Witch's Oven, Torbrand, Hydra's Growth, Agent of Treachery, Thassa, or one or the other, Embercleave, Cavalcade, Fires of Invention, Nissa who shakes dead ass, Hydroid Crisis, Jace Wielder, because who wants to encourage people to run their library out, that's ridiculous, Spark Double, duh, Chandra Awakened, duh, and Wilderness Reclamation. All of those are either too good for their mana cost, they're too fast, too consistent, too narrow of a window to respond to. Oh, and I forgot to. Doom Foretold and Dance of the Mans. You either get too much power on the field for too little mana, it's too early, it's too undercosted, whatever it is, it's just the card was designed wrong. It's really that simple. Now, do I think they should actually ban all those? No. I just wanted to point out that those cards went too far. So if you're looking for where the line is, the ones I said shouldn't be banned, that's the line, and the ones I said should be banned, they cross the line. It's really simple. That's my personal opinion, and from what I've heard and ran it by some people, about 75% of people seem to agree that, yeah, every one of the cards I named, they went too far. Or at least 90% of the list. A lot of people said Knight of the Ebon Legion isn't too bad. Are you kidding me? It's a 1-drop that hits for like 5 then 7. Are you kidding me? The card's better than Scoot Mob, and that was in a Modern Masters. Like, are you kidding me? And they didn't make it legendary. What a giant mistake. Like, Dream Trawler, you just can't get rid of it. Wilderness Reclamation, way the hell too much mana when there's too many instant speed, kill spells. Chandra, you literally cannot stop it. Nothing can stop it. The emblems can't be removed. It can't be countered. What the hell? Just in principle, that should be gone. I mean, I'm not going to explain every single card, but you guys get it. Like, Standard is in a really, 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 really bad place. So if they just ban the 5 cards that people want gone, then we still have to deal with all this bullshit. You're just going to see Risen Reef 3/4/5 color elemental dump where they outdraw you 10-1 and control you to death. Dream Trawler all in, duck and cover deck where they just protect that one card and win with it. Self-Mill Dance of the Manse where if they get that spell off you lose. Doom Foretold where you can't play anything in your entire deck. Teferi where there goes any kind of response to anything. Hydra Crisis where they're just going to dominate in the air while overdrawing you, 10-1. That's what you can look forward to after they ban Winota and Fires. Wow, I can't wait. Oh, not to mention Mono Red for the 3rd year in a row. I actually wouldn't be surprised if they got rid of that. I can deal with it enough with most of my decks with how fast it is. It's like, okay, it's red, as long as they get rid of Torbrand. Probably Embercleave too, because they're kind of the same thing. Like, everybody is sick to their ass of Cavalcade, but at the end of the day, almost every deck I have beats it. So, okay, it's such an annoying, stupid cliche deck. And you can't play mid-range shit. You can't play anything slower than blitz speed. And I think that suppresses creativity and deck building options. But Torbrand, he'll play around a mono white flying lifelink deck. Like, you can't stop that much damage. There's nothing you can do. You drop him in, and one phase later you lose. Like, it goes from main to combat, you just lost. I don't need to tell you that that's not enough time to respond to it. So yeah, everybody's complaining about standard. They would literally have to get rid of like 20, 30 cards to make it, fun and playable. Like, I'm just telling you, this is the bullshit we have to look forward to if they get rid of the most critical problems right now, which is Gyruda, Winota, and Teferi. Oh, and Fires, obviously. So to anybody who's about to say, yay, they finally fixed it once the standard ban rolls out, no. It might actually be so broken that they're just going to let it go and just say, screw it. People can play Winota, win on turn 4, who cares? Just, they've now, it seems, accepted that nobody is playing standard until rotation. Now, unfortunately, a lot of these cards are going to survive rotation. So if I were them, I'd get rid of them now and try and salvage some semblance of gameplay. Especially since MTG Arena is their big new shiny thing that everybody's playing, and standard is the format on that game. So to get back to what they're saying, blah, 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 diverse dynamic metagame, yeah, shut up. Before determining whether any changes are necessary and what the right changes should be, we need to see the metagame come closer to an equilibrium state. Oh, so they're waiting for it to finish changing. It landed on Winota, and it's stuck there. I'll tell you that right now from personal experience. Currently, these formats are shifting too quickly for data to indicate what, if any, card or archetype poses a problem. Wrong, that is a lie. We are aware of some players' concerns about the frequency at which they encounter decks using companions. No, one specific companion. While we're not currently seeing problematic win rates in Standard, Pioneer, or Modern from decks using companions, that's because literally everybody changed to control creature kill. So it looks like decks are changing, but we shouldn't have to play around this 8th card free card bullshit. If we see, or we're looking at an overall metagame share and potential for repetitive gameplay, if we see signs of long-term health issues resulting from high metagame share of companion decks, we're willing to take steps up to or including changing how the companion mechanic works. Ooh, so in other words, get rid of a card from hand, which still wouldn't be going far enough. You'd have to start them with 5 cards. 6 cards ain't going to do it. For now, metagames need more time to evolve before we can determine whether changes are necessary. I wonder if just enough people aren't playing standard anymore that they just don't have the numbers. You can't really gather numbers if everybody quit. So if you kind of summarize and get the gist of what they're saying, standard is in an absolute shit state. Nobody wants to play it. Everybody's pissed. Look at any Twitter poll or anything Mark Rosewater has put out. People are just livid over the state of standard, but they can't figure out what to ban because it's all so freaking broken. People are scrambling to adapt to all the broken shit that they just injected with the latest set, that they can't even get numbers together with what they should ban. And the answer is because you need to ban too much stuff. That's why it looks like, oh, look at the diversity. Look at all the changes. Because there's like 20 cards you need to get rid of. Oh, we can't quite pin it down. Then get rid of all of them. I mean, are they actually sitting in a room? Well, probably not. They're sitting on Zoom, having a meeting saying, guys, we can't figure out if Torbrand or Fires or Teferi control lockdown Esper prison shit, or Winota turn 4 win decks, or Ebon Legion resurrection decks, or Nissa Fires of Invention decks. We can't figure out which one's the problem. Bitch, all of them, every single thing, all of them. 100% of them are the problem. That's why you can't pin it down, because it's all of them. It's all of the above. It turns out it was a trick question all along. Who would have thought? Literally everybody who knows that Mark Rosewater still works there knows that standard is now a trick question. You got to get rid of everything. Also, I forgot to mention Edgewall Innkeeper on that list too. Oh my God. Oh, I get to draw a card every time I breathe. That I could see why that would be problematic. So yeah, Standard is irreparable. There's no way that they're going to take enough steps, and they're being hesitant because they know damn well that they'd have to ban either everything or nothing. If they just pick out, okay, we're just going to ban Winota, well then people are just going to play Garuda. The reason people are complaining about so many decks is because you let Mark go so frickin' out of control. Aaron Forsyth couldn't find his ass with both hands, and your play testing department clearly doesn't even exist. I don't know if it was your new CEO's thing or what, but whoever decided to push the power level to sell cards to modern players, well, that backfired, didn't it? So cut that, immediately power down every set from now on, and then ban, at least 5 to 10 cards. Just to kind of mellow down Standard a little bit. Just a little bit. And then maybe an apology would be nice. And anytime you ban more than 2 cards, I think an apology would be required. But they're not going to do that, so look forward to not playing Standard until 2023, and that's if literally tomorrow they started fixing the power level of Standard. That's how long it's going to take to clear out all these overpowered cards that they're unwilling to ban. So whatever, I'll see you guys in a week or two when they ban Lurrus from Modern and ban a whole bunch of shit from Standard, hopefully, or just abandon it. Like they did with Chain World. They just said, you know what, yeah, Standard's a shit show, but it rotates in 3 months, so, just deal with it. So, so that I could still keep playing Arena. The side events are kind of cool. The last one was crap, but I thought, let's get into Draft. It's kind of like Sealed, which I like way better. And, wow, I thought that we had a winner for the worst draft set ever, but then Ikoria came out. Almost every rare is undraftable, to the point where now if somebody picks up a rare that's on color, holy crap. And the only thing that wins is 3-color now. So basically it's mandatory that you draft 3-color, which it's even less likely then that a 3-color rare will be on color because you got to match up all 3 colors. Oh, and basing the entire deck around 1 card, the first rare that you draw, is idiotic. And I beat a lot of these 3-color players running like 3-color mutate, best of, whatever. I'm just going to pick anything, pick the strongest stuff, which, okay, it's a strategy. I tend to crush them when they don't pull their 3rd color because, there's basically no fixing. And the fixing is in the rare slot. So a lot of people resorted to just spiking the draft and just money drafting, basically. Just, I'm going to draft every rare, screw it. And I've seen somebody get away with 18 rares. Not really worth the 1,500 gems in my opinion, but if you do the cheaper one, okay, but that's not Ikoria, which is probably why they did that. So they don't run Sealed, Draft is ruined, Standard is ruined, Brawl, Do you still have to pay to play Brawl? Or do they rescind that? Oh, but Historic is there, which is literally just Standard with more degenerate shit added to it. So that's the shape of it. I would love to see the statistics on the number of active users on Arena compared to a year ago. Oh my gosh, somebody publicly release those, please. It's gotta be like 1/10. It has to be. Like, who would tolerate this shit? So that's the shape of things right now. Wish I had better news, but nobody plays Legacy or Vintage, and they really didn't honestly do anything to Brawl. I mean, Winota's gone, yay, so what? That said, I actually did have a ton of fun with the Historic Brawl event, but let's just say I had fun if you saw that live stream because I won literally every single game because they should have probably banned Heliod as a commander. Which isn't really my idea of fun, but it was kind of funny. So there's almost nothing left to play at this point. They've ruined the game so much by driving up the power level, and now they, like they said, they don't even know how to walk it back. So, on FYI, none of these occur on Arena until the 21st for some reason. So enjoy Winota for 3 more days. So that's the banner restricted announcement for May 18th, 2020. I wish they'd improve things a little bit further or give a shit about Standard, but they don't. I'll see you guys next video.